Ferguson again. Let's get to it. Welcome to another episode of Voice. I'm Nate Patterson, your host, and this is Voice. Today, the topics will include Ferguson again, the Ebola scare, and taking the label African American, or taking the title African out of the label African American. Okay, so let's start off with Ferguson first. Yesterday, I was on Facebook, and a post came across Facebook, and guess whose face popped up? Mr. Cornel West himself. You know, the guy that looks like Lincoln Hayes on the Mod Squad? Yeah, that guy. You know, him and his boy Tavis Smiley running around the country bashing our president. Well, months later, after Ferguson has almost all but died down, there's still, pockets of resistance that protesters are protesting. And he decides to go down to Ferguson and get his face in the news. He got arrested. Really, brother? Come on, man. I mean, Ferguson started, a couple of months ago? Where was he then? Was he busy? I mean, when the soldiers in Ferguson took to the streets to protest Michael Brown being shot by Darren Wilson, the unarmed black teen Michael Brown being shot by the white officer Darren Wilson, and hostilities broke out, right? Where was Cornel West then? Where was he? I'll tell you where he was. He was probably somewhere holding some type of paid event, getting paid, bashing our president. Because, see, that's how he lives, right? I mean, I used to have some respect for this guy. When I first saw him, I thought he was deep, right? But it seems like he's just eternally angry. I'm an angry dude on Facebook. But this guy got me beat. I got nothing on Cornel West, right? I mean, come on, man. You know, it bothers me. It really bothers me when celebrities pick and choose an opportunity to support to better their career. I mean, yes, we want their support. Yes, we want Cornel West down there with his voice. He's a very intelligent brother, and you know, he's all that, right? But, brother, we need you when it's happening, not when it's almost over. Do you understand? I mean, you come down here months later, or you go down there months later, get arrested, now it's breaking news. That's not breaking news, because before you got arrested, brother, there's hundreds that were arrested before you. They were there sincerely protesting a wrong that was done to this man. You, brother, are down there trying to get your face in the paper because your career has gone mediocre, all right? So, you know, it's time to, you know, amp that up a little bit. Oh, there's a cause. Let me go down and get arrested. Then everybody be talking about me again. Man, we don't care nothing about you, dude. Nothing about, man, they already threw Jesse Jackson out. They tried to throw Al Sharpton out. What in the world were you thinking when you walked down there? Huh? I have no clue. You know, it's things like that that bother me about our people. Okay, we can't support each other honestly, right, or sincerely. We have to have a motivation, okay, in order to support another black person. Now, there's no unity there, right? And speaking of unity, okay, this is something that we're lacking as a people. We have so many diverse perspectives, okay, in our own race that it's crazy. I read somewhere yesterday, there's over 400 or some, don't quote me on this, this is what I read. There's over 400 different types of ethnicities in the Negro race. I don't know. All I know is that we come in a variety of colors. Right? But we're still all one people. I don't care if this Negro is albino, okay? If he is of African descent, then he is my brother, spiritually. Do you understand? That's where that came from. So, you know, I mean, I don't understand why we are not together on certain issues such as Mike Brown. The diversity of opinion on this particular subject, it's just blowing my mind. I mean, I can be on Facebook talking about the cops and how they're doing this and doing that in Ferguson, And then I'll get somebody that, comes on and they'll disagree with my post, and they'll put this other perspective on here that it is nothing but a European perspective. Do you understand? And I'm looking at this and I'm like, are you serious, dude? Do you really think like this? Because history has dictated to us, man, that these people do not have our best interests in heart. Case in point. Saw another video today on Facebook. This white pastor speaking to his congregation. Do you know what his topic was? Racism in the elite, the rich, trying to oppress the poor. Okay? But the poor that they're trying to oppress are us.
I'm going to take one case this morning. I'm not talking about demons, and I'm not talking about apparitions, and I'm not talking about manifestations. I'm talking about rock hard science. Okay? Microbiologists. Who are these people? These are the guys who sequence DNA. All right? Deoxyribonucleic acid, that DNA, which is the code structure of your body. They sequence it. What are they doing that for? They're trying to find out, and I'm going to read it for you. This is an amazing thing. The headline says this: microbiologist with link to race-based weapon turning up dead. What's that? Well, let's look closely. Two American scientists worked with were Benito K., 52, Don Wiley, 57. Both microbiologists had been engaged in DNA sequencing that could provide a genetic marker based on genetic profiling. The research, now watch carefully, the research could play an important role in developing weaponized pathogens to hit selected groups of humans, identifying them by race. You ever thought of such a thing as that? 2 years ago, both men were found dead in circumstances never fully explained. You remember how I told you that the elite are racist? You remember what I told you about that? So why would they be, preacher? Root race theory. The 7 successive upward evolutionary progression. The root race theory. Adolf Hitler was one of the most racist men that walked the face of the earth. He made it plain to everybody that blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Nordic-featured, like this killer up here in Norway, that just shot to death all those people, was the Aryan epitome of what a human being should be, and all the rest of the scum underneath aren't even fit to live. Now, I told you that Margaret Sanger, when she started Planned Parenthood, and folks, if you don't believe me, go check it out for yourself, was as racist as she could be to the core. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you'll go back and if you'll go check, the 50 million kids have been butchered in this country. 50 million. Is that right? Am I correct in that? 50 million abortions. Go find out what percentage of those babies are black. Go find out. Go find out. Go find out how many Planned Parenthood clinics are located in large cities and out in the urban, sprawling areas where there's a concentration of black people, and you'll be amazed at how many of these are black babies. They're controlling the population that way. Now we have microbiologists who can control the population through a pathogen that they can create in a lab that can target a person's race. You say, well, that's insane. Not really. Not really. Nobody knows to this day where AIDS came from. They don't know where AIDS came from. I heard it said 20 years ago it came from the green monkey. I'm sure many of you have heard that too, but nobody ever proved where it came from. There are many people out there who believe AIDS came from a laboratory. They believe that. I can't prove that one way or the other. But I do know that it's created chaos, and I do know that the New World Order will bring order out of chaos. I do know that, and I do know that they have a motive in everything that they do, and that they've already said time and again that the world's population must be reduced. They're going to reduce the population, and here's what they plan to have in this new world: the super rich and the herd. No middle class. Middle class will be gone. Last, if you get on Drudge right now, he may still be posted on his main page. Get on Drudge, and you'll see where he says, black middle class eroding quickly. All right? Middle class, the middle class. Europe has the serfdom and it has the king. All right? That's been the system in Europe. America created a cultural system that's unlike anything else. They had super rich, always have, always will. They had the very poor, but they had the middle class. You see, they had the middle class, the buffer between the super rich who dictated over the very poor. The poor couldn't, they kept them uneducated, they kept them ignorant, they kept them poor, so they could use them and work them. Did you believe that you're doing that today? That's exactly what all these bailouts were about. That's exactly what this new world order is.
He said in his video that these DNA guys, scientists or whatever they are, right? They have discovered or perfected a way to introduce a virus to a particular race of people. Meaning that if I was standing here next to a Puerto Rican and I'm black, but they targeting the black man, that Puerto Rican wouldn't catch whatever I do. Sounds scientific. What is it? Science fiction, right? I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you people something right now, right? Let me go back here. Let me digress a little bit. Okay, let me digress a little bit. As a child, when I was coming up, there was this TV show. Okay, this TV show was called The 21st Century. And me and my friends, we used to watch that, man, because we were amazed by all the technology and the gadgets that were coming, and we couldn't wait for it to get here, right? We saw jetpacks. We saw Skype, okay, like the Jetsons, talking to people on your wristwatch or on the TV or a computer before all that stuff had hit, okay? We saw that on that TV show, right? And this, gave us a prelude to things to come, but we were kids, we were innocent, we didn't know, okay, that there were other deadly things that were coming also. So when people say, that couldn't happen, nobody's that evil, or that's like science fiction. I got to question your mindset and like, do you really walk around looking at stuff in this world, or do you got your face in the sand? Okay, because the technology is changing every single day in this world, not this country, in this world. Do you understand? I mean, when I was coming up, right? When I was coming up, we watched the Jetsons. I can't wait to be able to talk to people on TV. Now I'm Skyping my grandkids almost every other night. It's amazing. You'll buy a computer this month, next month, it's obsolete. So I said all that to say this, man. I mean, do not limit your thinking that, we're not capable of doing such things. These DNA scientists have developed a way to target people by race, by their DNA. Right? Ebola's back. I remember when I was a kid, and I wasn't paying attention to world issues and all that kind of stuff, but I did hear about Ebola, in Africa and all that kind of stuff, man. And it was a big thing back then, but then they got it under control and it died down. And I have not heard nothing about Ebola until the last couple of months, when all of a sudden, Ebola's back and we can't control it. Are you serious? Why not bring back the bubonic plague? That killed billions of Europeans, right? How come that's not back? I even read an article a while ago about the bubonic plague, and a scientist trying to bring it back to study it and see if it can cure other stuff. They put a stop to that, so said the article. Right? But here's Ebola, something that either died down or we defeated a long time ago when I was a child. Now it's out of control. We don't know what in the world's going on. Where do you think AIDS came from? Oh, I know. You heard the story. Oh, AIDS came from the monkeys. The Africans were messing with the monkeys. Yeah. That's where it came from, right? Nobody got a cure for AIDS. I submit to you they do have a cure for all these diseases. Case in point, people dropping like flies in Africa, right? Ebola. Yeah, we don't have a cure. All of a sudden, 2 white people got Ebola. They flew them back here to the United States, right? They're alive and well. I even read an article on that said that the vaccine that they have to cure Ebola only works on white people. Whoa. Red flag. Right? Because they spent a lifetime telling us that we're the same, that we're not different. Right? And yet, they got a vaccine that only cures white people. Black man just died from Ebola in Texas. Infected 2 other people, so they say. But I submit this to you. Right? That black man is going to be the scapegoat, just like the gay guy that inspired the movie Philadelphia with Denzel Washington, right? Oh, the gay guy, he came here and he's spreading AIDS everywhere. Really? Come on, man. Come on, son. I mean, you know, they'll tell us anything, right? They'll tell us anything and we'll believe it, just as long as it's on the news or they put God in that sentence. And we're going to go there, too, today. Because my mind is all over the place, as you could probably already tell right now, right? Because this is voice. This is my voice, right? There is no script. There's no Google. There's no facts, and there's no figures. This is just me speaking off the cuff, whatever's on my mind. And these are the things that I think about, okay? My mind works 24/7. I mean, it's analytical. It's diverse. Because I look at things and I no longer just look at the surface of anything and receive it as it's presented to me or as it's told to me, right? My mind's analytical. I ask questions. I ask why all the time. You know what I mean? I have to know, why is this thing so? And who made it so? And what's their credibility? You see, these are some of the questions I didn't ask as a child. And that's why I was bamboozled as a child. But there comes a time when you grow up and you have to become responsible for your thoughts, right? Which brings us to this topic. Brothers and sisters taking the African off of African American and only claiming America. Woo! What did Jesus say in the Bible? Forgive them, Father, because they know not what they do. Well, you know, I mean, it's becoming, what's the word I'm looking for? Commonplace, or it's the new in thing to say, I'm not African American, I'm American. But you have to understand what you're embracing, because when we came up with the term African American, okay, we did that at a time when our people who were stripped of everything that we known to man, right? And we won't go into those atrocities. That's another show, right? But we were stripped of our identity, our religion, our language. We had nothing. We were just sitting around like Humpty Dumpty in broken pieces. Man, we didn't know who in the hell we were. So we wanted to identify ourselves. We were being oppressed left and right, right? We ridiculed, TV, everything, man. You know, so we wanted some type of identification. They were calling us colored people, or the N-word, right? Or boy. There was a time when I was coming up and the new slang was man. Yo, what's up, man? You know where that came from? Hey, man, how you doing? Oh, what's up, man? Right? That slang came from us being pissed that we were being referred to as boys, grown-ass men, being referred to as boys. So we countered that by saying, you know, we're men. So we started calling each other man. That's where that came from, right? And then as the movement, the people want to say the civil rights movement. I was talking to a brother on Facebook. When I said the civil rights movement, he corrected me because now it's called something else. I don't know anything about being politically correct or politically correct. But what I do know is what I experienced and what we talked about and what we called it back then. So I'm going to call it the civil rights movement because that's what we called it. I mean, people want to correct it, you know, later on, like present day, want to correct the terminology. You have at it. But when I say the civil rights movement, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? So during that time, we started to experience that unity that I was talking about a minute ago that we did not have. Oh, man, we were so together then, right? I mean, you couldn't do nothing without somebody else trying to help you or somebody else, you know, interested in what you're doing. That's where the term brother came from. That's when we started using it. You know what I mean? Hey, brother, what's up, man? What's going on, brother? Man and brother in time, right? That's where all that stuff came from, man.
C squared. Take a look at the diagram here.
So they were calling us boy and the N-word and everything else they can think of. So we wanted it colored, and we wanted to get away from those stereotypical labels, and we wanted to get away from that degrading stuff, and we wanted to have a term that described us, that described who we were. We're from Africa. Our descendants are from Africa, whether you want to believe it or not. That's where it is. I don't care if you was born here. I don't care if you was born in Holyoke, right? I don't care if you're born in Holyoke 10,000 years in the future. Your bloodline starts in your spiritual roots back in Africa. That's where they are. So for you to sit there and deny that by saying, I'm not African American, I'm American, you have to understand what you're embracing and what you're denying. You understand? Because here's the truth, right? A tree is planted and it grows because it sprouts roots, and roots grow strong underground. If somebody comes and says, oh, that's a pretty tree, I want to take that tree over to America and do some things with it, and they cut it off at the roots, you stop growing. You understand? You start to wither and get weak. Try it. Go get a plant. Cut it up. Then stick it in some water. See what happens. As soon as you stick it in the water, right, it starts to wilt. It gets soft. You understand? Then all of a sudden, it'll revitalize because it's not ready to die. The perseverance comes in, so it grows more roots. You say, oh, it's growing roots. Okay, so I'm going to put it in some new soil over in America. You put it in the soil, right? So it gives the appearance of growing. But see, here's the difference, right? When that tree starts to grow again, it's in a different soil, okay? It's different. It looks the same, but it's different. Do you understand? It's not in this original soil. It had to adapt to a new environment. Now, depending upon where you put that tree, it might sprout roots and grow again, or it might die and wither, or it might just stay stagnant. Is this not a picture of who we are? Is this not a picture of our people? Stagnant, not growing. You know what I mean? We have the appearance of progressing, until this year or until 2008 when Obama was elected. Then all of a sudden we found out that now we ain't went nowhere because that stuff that was happening back in the 60s is still here, right? So when you take African American, when you take African off of American, you claim America, you need to know exactly what you're claiming, okay? I mean, I don't know if you read the history. I don't know if you've heard of history. I don't even know if you've been taught history. But if you admit, let's just say you have, right? Let's just say you have, and you've forgiven America for the atrocities that were done to our people. And now you want to be down with them, and you want to say, I ain't down with our people no more. I'm down with America because I live here, man. You can't get no better than what's here. Really? How do you know that? You ain't been nowhere else to live but here. And the only thing that you know about other countries is what they tell you. And you're too lazy to research anything. You got Google right there on your computer, but you're too busy posting twerking videos and the world star hip-hop fights to research anything and vet the news and vet people that are putting out these videos and see if they're telling you the truth. You put your faith in them and you take them at face value. What did Malcolm X say? Bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray. You ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. That's the only time you ever hear me say that. Nobody to blame but yourself. Because it is incumbent upon us to educate ourselves and our children. We can't sit back and wait for people to teach us. And who said that? Malcolm or Martin Luther King? I think it was Malcolm. Because Martin Luther King was soft. You know what I mean? I'm going to disrespect him and I'm going to disrespect people right here for a minute. I believe he was a punk. Because that man got people hurt. Do you understand? With this nonviolent stuff. Every person in this world has a right to defend themselves against anybody. You do not try to effect change going somewhere being nonviolent against a violent people. You're just setting people up to get hurt, man. And I think Martin Luther King did that. So I wasn't with him. I wasn't feeling him after I found out and matured. But, you know, while I was going on, y'all was like, Martin Luther King, all right, yeah. You know what I mean? But, I mean, his mindset was in the right place, man. But, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. Following Gandhi? Gandhi? Well, you know, see, here's the thing. And I said this about Christianity, too. Yeah, I know I'm popping all over the place, but just roll with me, right? Martin Luther King admired Gandhi, as the world did back then, right? But what the world didn't know, and what nobody was telling the world, was that Gandhi was a racist. Gandhi hated South African people. He hated black people, right? You can Google it. It's right there. Or you can read it. You can read the words right out of Gandhi's mouth, his own mouth. He said it. Don't take my word for it. Research it, right? So Martin Luther King followed Gandhi, took his nonviolent approach, and tried to make it a way of life for our people. Well, here's the thing. I studied John Henry Clark, right? And Dr. John Henry Clark revealed to me, and you can go watch his video. It's under A Great and Mighty Walk, right? Or you can read a book, same book, he's published, right? And he said that Gandhi, his nonviolent approach was a strategy. It wasn't a way of life. It was a strategy to effect change, okay, to further his purpose or his cause. Gandhi had a backup plan that if the nonviolent plan didn't work, you know what he was going to resort to? Violence. You can Google that too. It's right there. How come King didn't see this? Because every time I watch those clips they show us every year, I get madder and madder and madder at that man. It's like what? The Bible says, leading lambs to slaughter. That's what he did, man. And then when finally after, it wasn't only Martin Luther King, right? But it was a culmination of everybody working together or working for that same cause during that time. But America has already rewrote the narrative, and they placed the civil rights movement on Dr. King's shoulders, and it's all about him. That could be no further from the couldn't be so far from the truth if you forget it. I'm starting to get frustrated right now, so let me calm down for a minute. Well, that's wrong. Because when you focus on King for the civil rights movement, you forget about Malcolm X, Shirley Chisholm, Marcus Garvey, Huey Newton, you know what I mean? Angela Davis, all these people, Stokely Carmichael. Did I say his name already? You know what I mean? Fred Shuttleworth. You know what I mean? Who actually is responsible for Martin Luther King actually opened up his voice and speaking because he didn't want to do it. You know what I mean? When they control the narrative and you start concentrating on King, what does that do? It makes you nonviolent, which brings us full circle back to where I started. You cannot affect change against a violent people being peaceful. It's impossible. It's not historically correct. There's been no what's the word I'm looking for? No revolution without bloodshed. It hasn't been. Nowhere in this world. Right? So why would you think civil rights movement was successful? There was no bloodshed. The only blood that was shed was ours. You're too busy being nonviolent. You understand what I'm saying? In order to affect change, you got to take it. You can't ask your oppressor, you can't ask your captor for freedom, and then wait for them to give it to you. You got to take it. When are we going to get fed up and start coming together? What did they say in that movie, right? The hand, the grandmother put in the hand. This can't do nothing on their own, but when you do this, you know what I mean? That's what we need to do, yo. We need to do that. We need to come together once again like we were doing in the movement, man, and work for this cause. Because I'm tired of seeing brothers getting shot like Michael Brown. I'm tired of seeing brothers getting killed like Eric Gardner. I'm tired of seeing brothers getting killed like Trayvon Martin. And the hundreds or thousands that I can't name. It's happening every day. Every day, which brings us full circle to this, which I'm going to say, and it's disappointing to me, but I'm going to start off on my nemesis, Cornel West. Where is his voice in all this? Because he wasn't talking about this before he decided to go down to Ferguson and get his picture in the paper, right? His sights were set on the first black president this country has ever had, above board. I know there was supposedly one that hasn't been recorded in history, whatever, and I forget his name and whatnot, but we're not talking about him. That man had no power. He was a figurehead, right? But we're talking about the first black president who's brought this country full circle because he's half and half. He's a marriage of both races. And he's sitting in the most powerful seat in this country, right? We came here as slaves, and now we come full circle, and now we rule, right? First thing Obama did was he went back to Africa to the point where the very first slave left in West Africa. I call that full circle. That was historic to me. You understand what I'm saying? So where's Cornel West in all this? We need unity, man. We can't keep doing this separate thing. We have to pick a cause and all come together and work together on that cause, man. Ferguson is only the first, man. I mean, when that first happened, I was like, wow, man, we finally standing up again. Because months before that, I was calling for that. Not that I want to get people hurt, right? Not that I want to beat anybody up or destroy people. But I'm tired of being a punching bag. I'm tired of waking up every morning and finding out another black kid got shot and killed. I'm tired of that. And then when we open up our mouth, they say, oh, black on black crime. Really? That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. Like, other people don't kill other people. And if you look at the numbers, it's impossible for black on black crime, okay, to be higher than white on white crime in this country. In the world, maybe, because we outnumber in the world, but in this country, they outnumber us, what, 5-1? So you're going to tell me they all love each other? Get out of here with that mess. People are people. People are people. And people get mad at other people, and they get physical and violent with other people. You're telling me one race doesn't do it, but the other one does it so much that it's crazy? Get out of here. That's because they got us on blast, man. There's so much control, there's so much oppression that just goes over our people's heads today. Have not a clue. Not a clue. Unless you do something that you don't want to do. Study. Know your history, man. If you know where you come from, nobody can tell you where to go. Right? Then you get these brothers and sisters, right? Oh, well, I got a PhD, I got a bachelor's, and I'm doing very well, la, 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 la. No. All you have done is got a PhD in the perspective of this country, in that particular area that you study. That means that you now professionally look at things the way they do. That's the only difference. PhD don't mean nothing to me. You know what I mean? Because I could take you and your PhD down to the hood and you wouldn't know how to act. Get took, get robbed, probably get killed because you don't know how to act. You don't know how to move and flow there. Because that's where I got my PhD and my doctorate. You understand? I can go places that you can't. Oh, yeah, you can go places I can. Really? I might not have a PhD, but I got common sense. And that's all I need to compete on your level because I've done it all my life. You understand? I've done it all my life. So don't throw your titles at me. They don't mean nothing to me. What means something to me is you and how you move and flow in this world. So when you get your PhD, right, and your doctors and your bachelors, and you start to wear a tie instead of, your basic, hood garment and all that stuff, and then you fly out of the hood and you move out there with those people, and then they begin to show you that they don't want you there. And you come back and talk to us about how bad you're being treated. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear how come you left and when you coming back. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear, are you going to try to affect change out there, or are you just going to stick your head in the sand and take it because you don't want to act like a Negro? That's what we want to know. Because when you sell out, don't come back. So when you take the African off of American and make yourself American, right, don't come running back when you find out these people don't want you and they consider you not American, right? Don't come whining us. You stay there. I just found out some atrocity, some stuff about the Spanish people I had never known. But it's so close to what the Europeans did when they were here. The Spanish conquistadors and all that, when they came over here looking for gold, Columbus and his little racist slaving behind, right? They cut up the Indians and fed them to dogs. How can the people do that? What goes through your mind doing something like that? How superior do you have to be or think you are to stop doing something like that? When you come to a new people, when you come to a new world, you say you're going to bring civilization, and you do things like that, what are you really bringing? I call it evil. I don't know what you call it. I call it evil. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to take a break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about this Walmart issue, and there was a video that I wanted to show you in the other show that I couldn't download. I got that video, and we're going to take a look at it when I get back, so stay tuned.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness, I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Okay, we're back. Now, I did a show not too long ago regarding the Walmart shooting. I can't remember the guy's name. The brother that was shot in Walmart, right, for holding a BB gun while black, shopping in Walmart, one person, you know what I mean? One person. Hold on to that thought for a minute. One person called about this man threatening people with a gun, walking around Walmart harassing people. Now, let's look at the stupidity of this whole story. We're talking Walmart, where billions of people go every day, right? I mean, when have you ever been in Walmart that's been empty or, not a lot of people there? Very rarely, right? That's number one. Now, consider how many people are in Walmart on a daily basis, right? How many of them carry cell phones? Because you can't walk in Walmart without seeing billions of people walking down the aisle on cell phones. It's like it's a rule. You got to have your cell phone on it and walk on it. And walk while you're talking or whatever, texting and all that kind of stuff, right? It's like it's a rule. So we know that Walmart is crowded on a daily basis. We know that people carry cell phones and talk on cell phones and all kind of stuff, right, while they're in Walmart on a daily basis. But only one person, one man, called the police to report a black man holding a gun terrorizing people in Walmart. He even said terrorizing kids. One person. Now, let's look at the police. You're a 911 dispatch officer. You do this every day for a living, right? You know the track record that when there's a situation like this, you're going to get more than one call. Because more than one person is seeing this danger. And they're going to call and say, hey, come arrest this dude because he might shoot somebody. They only got one call, man, for one guy. Cops came in. Now, let's talk about that because I went over this in the show before. Excuse me. Went over the show before. When first responders, cops, firemen, EMT workers, Boy Scouts, whoever, comes to a place where there's an issue happening, the very first thing you are trained to do is to look at the situation and assess the danger to yourself and to other people. Because unless you do that, you're not working with a full deck. And you don't have a full understanding of what's going on. You can't just run it. What's the fool? What's the saying? Fools rush in, right? I want you to take a look at this video. Oh, wrong side. I want you to take a look at this video. Walmart. Fools rush in.
Can you advise if they're taking donations at Shea Stadium? DHB on Versity and West on the air.
Fire Command Post is Broadway investigating.
Can you raise DHB post at Versity and West? 113, 117,
2026. Sir, what's going on?
Gunshots in the store.
Hey, which corner of the store?
Police officers are here. They're on the scene.
All right.
I just had any shots fired. Start an ambulance.
Okay. So you saw the video, right? Cops came in. Now, here's the story the cops told in Ohio. They came in. I forget the guy's name. It's up there on the screen, right? He came in. He was acting aggressive, and he was doing all this stuff with the gun. Did you see that? The dude was on the phone talking, man. There were other people in the aisle next to him, the aisle over. They didn't care about this dude, right? That one person picked this man out. Black man. White man called, right? They told this story. So they researched this guy. Found out that he was kicked out of the Marines for telling stories. Nobody knew if he was racist or not. We still don't know if he's racist. But by his actions, you can't tell me he's not. Because there's an open carry law in Ohio, right? I can go in Ohio with my gun on my shoulder. And I've showed clips, and I'm going to show them again. Watch here. These people, they're in Walmart, open carry. They got guns, rifles, all kind of stuff. How come nobody called the cops on them? It's an everyday occurrence in states that have open carry. People walk around with guns because they can. How come nobody called the cops on them? How come the cops didn't rush in and just shoot and then ask questions later and then lie about it like they did this guy in Ohio? But now let's take a look at this next video, the one I said I couldn't get, right? Let's take a look at this. Now, it's going to start off. This is a video of a white guy standing in the corner, intoxicated, with an AK-47 or some type of assault rifle on his shoulder. The video starts off with how many people calling? At least 3.
911.
Hi, I just wanted to report that I was driving down Court Street and I saw a Caucasian man with white hair and pajama pants walking with what looks like an AK-47.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, I'd like to report something. There's an elderly man walking down the street with it looks like to be an assault rifle. I don't know if it's a BB gun, a pellet gun, or whatnot, but I mean, he's older, he's an elderly man, and I just want to make sure everything's going to be all right.
Sir, does he just has it over his shoulder? He doesn't have it in his hands or pointing it at anybody or anything like that?
He's not pointing it. It's up on his shoulder, facing the sky, but there's no sling to it.
Yeah.
He does appear to be intoxicated. He's stumbling around a little bit, kind of bumping into some stuff.
Okay. And last you saw him was right in front of the Dairy Queen?
Yes, I'm watching right now, just down the street, directly in front of the Dairy Queen.
I can have somebody block down Court Street from the east and the west, please. Hey, partner, how you doing?
We're on Fire Channel. Do you have traffic?
Can you set that down real quick and talk to me? Okay. Well, you can't cross the street like that. Yes, you are being detained right now. You're crossing the street illegally. Place the weapon down on the ground, please. Place the weapon down on the ground. All right, it sounds like he won't put the gun down. I caught him crossing the street illegally. Place the weapon down on the ground, please. Place the weapon down on the ground. Make it pretty good. All right, have you around the court. You are being detained. I'm asking you to put the gun down on the ground. Look, you crossed the street illegally. I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to you. Walking around here scaring people, man. I understand your rights, and I'm not trying to violate your rights. Okay, but you're crossing the street, marching around. You can't cross the street like that. Well, you need to put the weapon down before I talk to you. Okay. Do you have some identification on you? You have no ID on you whatsoever. Why are you carrying around a weapon without any identification? Well, you have the right, but you can't cross the street like that. I need you to put the gun down before I talk to you about that. You're being aggressive towards me. Sir, can you take your car and drive over there, please? You have committed a crime. You're jaywalking. Okay. Right. What's your name, bud? What's that? Joe Schmo? Okay. You know you're required to identify yourself if I have identified you committing a crime. Okay. You jaywalk. 1612. Okay. We don't need to go this route, man. I'm not coming near you with a rifle shouldered on you. No, you're not free to go. Right now you're committing a crime of resisting and obstructing. So now you've stepped up to a misdemeanor crime. I don't want to shoot you. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to do that, man. Right. 46. I have a reason to identify him. Providing you with his name. Currently swearing at me. He still has the right to shoulder. Right, clearing it. I still have toe temps. We're in front of the auto room, correct? 10-4 in front of the auto zone. Folks, I need you all to go inside. If that gun is live and he starts firing, everybody's at risk. Thank you. What? And that's not helping your case any. Have you been drinking today? Okay. Well, then why are we acting like that? We've been using drugs? Okay, well, then why are we acting like that? Why are we acting like that? Why are you so angry? Why are you cursing at me? Okay. I'm not here to fight a revolution. I'm here to protect the citizens of the city. That's it. Three skipper. You can't, unfortunately, we're beyond that point, sir. We're beyond that point. Disregard it. Okay. Well, what do you want me to do? I'm asking you to put the gun down and be reasonable. That's all I'm asking. We've been here for 5 minutes, and I'm asking nothing but reasonable things from you. You got your rifle. How am I acting like a prick? I am not in a gang. You've scared every single person in this community right now. They're working late, come up to face to face. I would like you to put your gun on the ground and we'll come talk about it. That's all I'm asking you to do, sir. That's all I'm asking you to do. What is your date of birth? Well, sir, I have a reason to get your identification now. When you crossed the street, you did so illegally. Yeah, but I can't do that without your name. So I have a reason to ask for your name now. That has nothing to do with the gun, but I will not approach you with that gun shouldered with your hostility towards me. That's not going to happen. I am not going to die because you're angry with me. That is not going to happen today. Put the gun down on the ground and I will talk to you like a man. You are not free to go. No, sir. You are not free to go. Down from the airport through next auto zone. But just put the gun down so we can talk about that. Why do we have to act like that? What is our problem? Apartment 1139. I'm not acting. I'm responding to a call. 3 people called because you're marching around with this gun on your shoulder, scaring the bejesus out of everybody. And then you cross the street right in front of me improperly. And now you want to curse and yell at me, and I haven't even said word one to you. You started cursing at me right away. I'll be an open carry situation where the subject is not complying with lawful command. So, we established the fact that I have a reason to detain you. You are being detained, right? So you know, based on your studying of this open carry law, that if I have, listen to me. If I have a reason to detain you, that you need to follow my lawful orders. Is that correct? Sir, do you understand that you need to follow my lawful orders? And I'm giving you a lawful order to put the gun down and identify yourself. And you are not following that for what reason? Okay. You are resisting and obstructing at this moment. Peter, is this the guy that you guys deal with? You are resisting and obstructing at this moment. Do you understand?
only has to be advised, this is the open carry subject. He's obviously considered dangerous. Skipper is the only one that's used force, and that's on my direction. We're not that.
No, sir, not yet. Can I talk to you for a second? So he's doing the march in front of people. He sees me. He gets on the road. He crosses. The angle like part of the a couple of them had to slow down. Not him. Gets to there. I make contact with him. So I identify him with. Okay. My name is Joshua. I got 2 here.
Sergeant Wells is in place. He's speaking with the subject. Subject's agitated. He is exercising his open carry rights. However, he is certainly overextended them at this point.
I'm the other type of gone. If I walk up there and try to talk to this guy, that's going to be against every fucking bone in my body. What we should do, although I trusted John to shoot his ass.
All right, John, I'm going to walk across. And he's agreeing to not touch the rifle. Roger? John, not you, I guess. Chris, keep your camera on it. John, you can stay in place. The rest of you can clear.
So there you saw it. You saw that video, right? The guy was intoxicated. He was waving a gun around, right? Right there in the corner, people going by. People were legitimately scared. They called in and voiced their concerns to the cops. Not just one person. They only showed 3 people in this video, but I'm sure where that guy was located, how many people saw him, more people called. These guys, these cops came. They talked to this guy, man. They talked to him. They assessed the danger when they got there. How come these cops weren't the ones in Ohio? I wish they were. Because the guy talked to the guy. He saw no danger. This guy wasn't really out to hurt nobody, right? He just drunk. You know what I mean? So they said, all right, well, let's talk to the guy. Let's not end this guy's life, right? And as you saw, they talked to him, finally got the man to sit down and walked up, took the gun. Did they pile on him, put their knees in the back of his neck in the back and other cops running around looking for a space to, subdue this guy after 15 people are on top of him? No, they didn't do none of that. What did they do? They talked to him. They talked to him. Now, of course, I know. You can't treat every person wielding a gun like that. But you can attempt it. Because this might be an option. Even if this guy really wanted to shoot somebody, or if he was really aggressive, he can be talked down. You got to try it. You got to try it. But these guys in Walmart, in Ohio, they ain't talked to nobody. They had a report, a black man with a gun terrorizing people. They ran in SWAT style and shot him. He didn't know what the hell was going on. They shot him dead. And then they got off because, the secret grand jury. Yeah, well, they are well within, the ramifications or the peril, whatever it is, man, that they say that gets cops off. So it brings us this situation right here. Because these cops got off, right? Brings us back to Ferguson again. Because Darren Wilson is going to get off. He's going to get off. And you know what's going to happen when that happens? We are going to explode. And you want to know what's going to happen when we explode? They're going to come back with all that military gear and they're going to kill a lot of people. Just to keep this one white man safe after he brutally killed an unarmed black teen. Feel me? So, you know, I don't know how, I don't know, well, okay, I missed the point. We're not supposed to talk about perspective, all right? Because this is the only way you can answer that, all right? Because even with the Christopher Columbus thing and all those other nuts that were described as great men, but were really slave traders, rapists, and murderers, it depends on what perspective you're looking at these people from. If you're European, yeah, they're great people to you. They come from you. They did things that progressed your race, right? But if you're on the other side, the Indians, you know what I mean, the Aborigines that got wiped out in Australia, us, these are not great men. How can they be? But if you're taking the African off of American and making yourself just American, these are your forefathers, and this is who you have to embrace. Even you got to embrace, you know, the slave traders. You got to embrace the plantation owners that used to take babies from the mothers, use them as crocodile bait, right? You know what I mean? And if you resist, they hang you, boil you in oil, and set you on fire, and then they cut body parts off and use them as souvenirs and make, you know, little postcards. I mean, you can research all this. You don't have to believe me. It's all out there. Because, see, we're living in a day of technological, wow, that's crazy, technological era where we could find out almost anything that happened back then. Just like the Bible. Those people that wrote the Bible, they didn't think we had the technology to uncover their lies and distortions, but we do. But those of y'all like me, for 20-something years have swallowed that lie, you won't believe it. You won't believe it. I have this conversation with my cousin, the elder, all the time. We can go to lunch and we have a good time, man, going back and forth, right? But, you know, you won't believe it. He's established in it. I was established in it for 20 years when I woke up, praise God. And yeah, I said praise God because I don't have an issue with God. My relationship with him is intact. He's the one that's guiding me on this voyage, on a fantastic voyage. I'm not ready to do another show on that yet. I'm still studying, but it's coming. It's coming. I'll tell you, I've learned so much, man. I've learned so much in such a short period of time. But see, here's what I also learned. It's just not about religion, okay? The key or the root of this problem or the root of this issue is history, okay? If you study history, you can see the lies and distortions in religion. And not just Christianity. You can see it in Islam or Buddhism or whatever other, you know, man-made religion there is. I don't do religion no more, man. Nah. No, I'm not doing that stuff no more. I don't want to be controlled by this stuff. Why would I need a book to understand how to worship a God? I mean, did the first people have books? Come on, man. Right? When our ancestors got here, they didn't speak the language. They didn't worship Jesus or Jehovah in those names anyway. Right? But by the time a few generations passed, well, let me say this first. Our ancestors worshipped Osiris and Isis and Heru, Horus, Anunnaki, I think, Imhotep, all these guys. So these were black gods, right, that they worshiped. But those black gods were beat out of them, man, through generations. You know what I mean? They, from saying Osiris, they started saying Jehovah. Instead of saying Heru, they started saying Jesus. So if you're going to take the African off of African American, this is what you have to embrace. This is what you have to own. You can't pick and choose what you want. This is your heritage. Right? Cops in Walmart running around shooting black men because they can. That's your history. Think about what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're cutting off your spiritual roots. Ain't nobody gonna cut, pack all their bags and run back to Africa. Just like ain't nobody gonna pack all their bags and move to California or New York. You understand? Because, you know, when I say Africa, I'm talking about spiritual home, spiritual roots. You understand? If you're going to be realistic about it. And if you know who you are, if you know where you came from, then you're powerful. You're powerful. Then you know how to teach your kids. Rather than your kids learning this garbage about Christopher Columbus and all these other idiots that went around raping and pillaging and destroying our civilization and our people. But then your kids won't be thinking that they're great men, and we're not. Because we are great people, and we have a strong history. So, you know, with all that said, man, you know, I'm going to come with a show. It's going to blow your mind, man. All right? So anyway, once again, I'm Nate Patterson. Thank you for letting me vent, you know. If you want to argue the point, you can get at me on Facebook. You know, I'm right there. I'm always ready for a good debate, right? But it doesn't matter. These are my thoughts. I didn't bring no facts and figures. I didn't bring no Google. I didn't bring no other perspective but mine. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time on Voice.